Hello, and welcome to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
Kaiser Computer IT, professional IT services for small businesses in the Willamette Valley. Call 503-540-5909 for an appointment or online at kaisercomputer.com. Boson Hub asks you to join them in supporting Kickin' Cancer, empowering individuals and families to thrive in their cancer journey. kicking-cancer.org. Independent Merchant Brokers provides innovative solutions for your payment processing needs. Call 877-460-4747 and online at independentmerchantbrokers.com. Discover Oregon Real Estate. Dedicated and experienced real estate agents helping their clients find their dream home. Call 541-250-1065. Learn more on the web at discoveroregon.realestate. 10D Tech, IT solutions that keeps your business running, data protected, and your team productive. Call 541-250-3894 and online at 10dtech.com.
And now, your hosts for The Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
And here we are live on The Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, happy Easter Monday. I'm doing great.
Yes, it was a beautiful, wonderful Easter. So thankful not only to celebrate his resurrection, but also to spend time with family. Always a good thing.
Yeah, we had rain on Saturday, so tough time for the kiddos doing Easter egg hunts, but it was a beautiful day yesterday.
Good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, we had a beautiful day the last couple days, and it was actually downright warm yesterday here in Oregon, which is always interesting, but always good for Easter. So that's good. So anyway, well, hey, I just want to remind everybody, we are here every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Don't forget this converts to audio podcast as well, and it plays on the radio on KWIL in Albany, Oregon, and KYKN in Salem, Oregon. Consult the information at local.theexperience.video for more information. Right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to learn about this show and the other shows that we do is to go to local.theexperience.video. That's our website where you can find our YouTube channels. You can find information on the various shows that we do. You can find our LinkedIn connections and actually link to books that we sell, like the one right over Russ's shoulder, which is Life Happens and Then You Choose, and also my book on business networking, a scientific method. They're all there and available. Local.theexperience.video.
You know, Scott and I are so blessed to be able to utilize so many avenues to get a good word out. Who does not need a positive, godly word today? Well, if you think you don't, then I'm sorry, I'm confused, but you do. So we all need it. We all need it. And so we do our best to get out that positive word here live on streaming, as well as audio podcasts, as well as radio, as well as books, as well as so many avenues that we utilize to be able to get out the positive word. And we're so thankful you're here. You know, we just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. We've already given thanks to, and also remind you that we're listener supported. All of that information as well is at local.theexperience.video, where you can actually help us to keep broadcasting. We can't do this without you. We're listener supported and sponsor supported. So if you want to reach out about being a sponsor or reach out about being a listener supported, we would love to have you and love to have your help. But you know what? We have the most amazing,
Mhm.
amazing people, Scott, don't we?
Yeah, every week we talk to the most remarkable people on the planet. And since there are 4 remarkable people in space, they don't count because they're not on the planet. Although we'd love to have them as guests if they want to join us. Artemis 2, about a half hour after this show ends, they're going to be starting their live broadcast from NASA as they circle the moon. So a historic moment here in human history, and we all get to be a part of it.
Yeah, amazing. And we should reach out to them and see if they want to be on next week.
Yeah, that's right. After you spend, they get back, spend some time with their family, come on to the experience, local, and share their story. I don't know if any of you watch, but I would recommend that you go out and you look at the Instagram, look at the NASA Instagram channel, and the wonderful testimony that is provided there on Easter Sunday morning.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm going to look at that now after we get off. So thank you. But, Scott, anything exciting happening in your life this week in Waco, Texas?
Well, I tell you, the big thing is we're getting ready for Russ Hedge to come and visit us here. And he was in Ireland. Now he's going to come to Texas and find out how small Ireland really is.
Yeah, I'm sure it fits into a little piece of Texas, but no, I'm very excited and always blessed. Live life now, I always say. Get out there, make things happen. It's such an awesome opportunity to meet with people that Scott, you and I have done business with, we've done life with, but I have not been able to see them in 3D. So this will be an exciting time.
Yeah, it'll be good. And everyone, make sure you're following #RussSelfie on all the social platforms so you can find those images.
You will find plenty of stuff, but number one, with you, my friend Scott, I'm looking forward to that. So, well, with that, I think we should start get this show rolling.
Yeah, let's bring Molly in. I'm excited to hear her story and share it with others.
Let's do it. Let's get her in to get things started. So I always need to get myself ready here because I thought I was ready. Here we go.
Hello, Molly.
Molly,
hi, guys.
So good to have you here, Molly. What a blessing to be able to meet you and chat a little bit before the show today. Looking forward to all that you've got for us today. But let's just start off with the basics. Who in the world is Molly? What do you have?
Well, thank you. First, I'm just so excited, and I do feel blessed to be here. So thank you. Who is Molly? Molly is a mom, a wife, a farmer, a friend. That's what I do. I am all time on the farm with my kids, and that's what I do. And that's where my business stemmed from, is the daily life that I live.
Well, that's so important too, because you know what? It is relatable to people because there's so many people in your situation that daily, have normal life going on. So within all of that, let's start off with your business. Give us a little rundown of what you're doing and what it's all about.
Sure, thank you. I'm excited to share. Obviously, I'm really passionate about it. So basically, what my business is it's called Track It. Track It, the behavior tracking app, and I get a lot of jokes about that. But what it stemmed from was my everyday life as an autism mom and the experience that our family went through in order to get my son help and support and services. I really found this gap with being able to provide the picture of what's happening at home with professionals. And so God was like, listen, it's time to change it. And so that's where the idea came from. And basically what people do is you log into this app that I built, and you can track behaviors that doctors and professionals are looking for in order to get help and support and services for your family in the autism world, ADHD, intellectual disabilities, really encompassing all people that need support.
We just, I believe we just finished Autism Awareness Week. We are in Autism Awareness Month, so it's great to have you here. And as they say, if you've met somebody with autism, you've met one person with autism. And there really is, as they say, it is a spectrum. It is very wide. And but give us an overview. What do people need to know about folks who have autism?
I really appreciate you saying that. A lot of people outside of the community don't necessarily know what it means to be involved in the community. So it's really cool that you know that. When you meet one person, you meet one person. Everybody is different. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? And unique in our own sense. And that's the same with individuals with autism. Everybody is different. And so, as far as an outside person looking into this community, the best thing that somebody can do is understand, is to learn and ask questions. Don't be afraid that somebody is different or that they might see the world differently than you do. And I think that's the most important part as far as looking out and in. And then the next step would be, and not only understanding, but taking steps to then be involved, right? Meet somebody where they're at. Try and go to where their needs need to be met. And that starts with the first thing, which is understanding, which is what Track It is about, is giving families understanding so that they can advocate better for their children.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point you just bring up there, and that is understanding. Because people that are not in that situation, they don't understand. And I think a lot of times too, it's not just what you're dealing with, but what the environment is around you, right? Talk a little bit about that, the difficulty, getting people to understand. I mean, the whole situation, right?
Sure, yeah. So the world that we're in, right? It's built around people that can understand lights and sounds and different smells. And when you have autism or another intellectual disability or sensory sensitivities, this world is not built for them. So when we go out and you see a child that might be having a hard time, it might be the smell, it might be the lights, it might be something that you don't know about. And that's my favorite part about Track It, is being able to take those things that you see with your child and people around you and put it into this little thing, and it'll come up with, maybe it's the lights or maybe it's the smell, because it could be something that you wouldn't even know unless you're looking at that data point. Like going to the grocery store. Do you know how loud it is in the grocery store? To you and me, it's not very loud, but to someone with sensory sensitivities, it can be overwhelming and even blinding for how loud it is, because you have to go and hide. So the environment is a big factor, and I really hope that Track It can help paint that picture for, it's not just, what somebody is up against in their own world. It's all around them too.
There's just so many different factors. What kinds of things are you tracking in that app? And would it be helpful for like business owners to understand what those are, or anyone that deals with the public?
Sure. I'm so glad you asked. So my goal with Track It was not only to support families and individuals that are in this every day, but also to extend to businesses, to therapists, to professionals, to educators who are working with children on a daily basis. So the things that you can track, literally everything, from a child doing repetitive behaviors to a child talking and echolalia. I've never been able to say that right. But all of these behaviors, they're actually communication. But in addition, the environment, right? To our point with sensory sensitivities, if a child is acting up in the springtime and those behaviors are communication, but there might be a child that can't tell their mom and dad, my nose hurts because I have allergies. And so in the app, you'd be able to track their behaviors and how they're acting differently in certain seasons. And it'll come up with, maybe the environment in the outside air or the temperature might be affecting it. They can track sleep. They can track food. A lot of people are really looking closely at food that their children are intaking, if it's affecting their behavior, if it's not. But then in addition, with neurodivergency, there's also eating disorders. And so they can track that. You can track injuries. I have a child who doesn't feel pain. He gets hurt and you wouldn't even know, but about 2 days later, he'll be acting differently. And so to be able to see that, oh, okay, he fell down and bonked his head, I'm going to write that down and I can look at it later and see the full picture. In addition, everything parents can track, professionals can track everything for their child.
I just think that's amazing. I can only imagine. I had 2 children without those type of issues, but I have really good friends that do have autistic children and other things they have to deal with. When you talk about sensory issues, as an adult, actually through my cancer journey, because of my hearing and because of my eyesight, can be blinding when I go into a store with fluorescent lights. And it is so loud in that store because of my hearing aids, but it's just a bunch of noise. And so I can only imagine as a young child that doesn't understand what's happening and all of that. That just is amazing. So your faith through all this has been a staple. You're a strong believer. Talk a little bit about that, how that has really guided you, carried you through, why that's so important.
Thank you. First, for taking that moment to step out of this is my world and maybe see something as somebody else might see it. That was a big deal. So thank you. But my faith, and I might be brought to tears in this, that is the whole point of my journey. I mean, taking a step back and looking at even starting when I just first had my son. But this all stemmed from in and out of the church and having this experience to get my son help and support and coming out and feeling not supported and feeling not listened to, and that deep crying sob that you could ever sob before. And that's when we heard it. My husband and I both change it. It's time to change it. And then through that, that's where Track It was born. And along that journey of I need to change this, because if I went through it, somebody else is going through it. I realized I can't do this without him, without God. And not only can I not do it without him, but this is his and he gave it to me. He gave it to me. It's my responsibility for him. And through that course, I've just learned that I need to trust him. I've been scared the entire time. Let me tell you what, fear is a big one. But every day I just learned that I need to learn more about the Lord. I need to trust him. I'm going to take my step in faith with him and for him. And that's been guiding me this entire time. There's been moments where, because it took me a year to like figure out the idea. And then I stepped out in faith and I did a Kickstarter campaign to earn money because it's $150,000 to build an app. Who knew? And so I did this Kickstarter and it didn't work. And I went to the community to do fundraising and it didn't work. And I finally was like, Lord, I don't know what to do. I need your help. And the next day I found a way to build the app by myself for $25. And it's been incredible. For every moment I have a roadblock and I learned to trust him and just lean on the Lord, that it's done for me. I just have to let him move through me. And so that's been my experience, that this is something that he gave to me and it's for him. And I have to lean on that because I do trust that it's something that he wants me to do to help those in our world, in our situation.
I'll say everybody is going through something. Not everybody has family members that are, or friends, close friends that are on the autism spectrum. But just broadly, how does dealing with this in a positive manner help you share your faith?
I have a saying at home. It's running on the Holy Spirit, because with autism and even neurodivergence or challenging behaviors or intellectual disability, it is hard and it is a hard road to navigate. And some days it feels impossible. And so there is this point where I can't do it. My husband and I, we cannot do it without the Lord's help and support. And so that's where it kind of just bleeds through me. Because I can't wake up every day without the Lord's support. I wouldn't make it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we all have stuff going on, right, Molly? I mean, everybody's got something happening. This is why I always say life happens and then you choose.
Right.
Okay, shameless plug. But it's true because we're living with that every day of our lives, right? Life is happening around you. When did you make that choice to make a difference? What key thing in your life really made you wake up and say, I've got to get out there and do something?
That would be his diagnosing appointment. My son, my eldest son, we noticed that he might have intellectual or disability early on. I was like, I think something's going on. So it took 18 months to even get into a diagnosing appointment. And within that 18 months, you're thrown into appointment after appointment where you're trying to get help. And really the biggest thing is you just want to support your child. You want to help them be the best them they can be. And so we finally get there. We're at this appointment we waited almost 2 years for. I'm prepared as prepared can be. And we left and they're like, no, you don't need anything. What? It was heartbreaking. And that was that moment where, I mean, it took us an hour to get there, an hour to drive home. And I started crying before we even left. And in the car on the way home, my husband's looking at me like, are you going to be okay? And that's where I totally felt it. I mean, it just overcomes the whole vehicle where you're going through this now, and it took 18 months journey, right? You're going through this. How many other people are going through this experience? They say that early intervention, right? Getting to your child the sooner the better is key. If it takes that long to get there, and then you get there and you don't get the help that you need, how many children are being missed? How many families aren't getting what they need? And that's what did it. If I'm doing it, somebody else is. And if Track It can help one person not go through what we went through, that's what the Lord called me to do. One
I
family.
love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
It's, as I remember a pastor telling us that, Jesus didn't die for all of us. He died for each one of us, right? I mean, if it was just one person, he would have gone through the whole thing. And so you're very much exhibiting what Christ did for us. So I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Track It. I wish that you had created Fix It, because that's what people would hope for. But I'm also thinking, as you talk about people going through this and having it take so long to get through the medical system, and no child, no individual is going to be the same. And so maybe people who have a thought that maybe my child could use some attention, they can start using this right away and gather information so that when they finally do get to that medical professional, they have data. What does the data look like? How does it get output so that parents, educators, medical professionals can help those families?
Thank you for asking. So I'm not a professional. I don't know how to build an app. I've been doing all this the best I can, right? So what happens is that you can tell the story of collecting data in multiple different ways. A parent or an educator or a professional can write a story and say, this is what happened before, this is what happened after, this is what happened during. And the app will pick up on keywords and put that into a report. The reports, I have reports and deep analytics to where you can see if this behavior overlaps with this behavior, because it's not just one thing. I mean, crying is crying, right? But when a meltdown happens, there can be physical aggression. There can be property destruction. There can be isolation. There's so many things. So not only can they tell a story, but they can also put a behavior label. So like really quick, just this is what happened. This is what I saw. And it stores it all in a database, which is safe. and protected. And when I get to enterprise level, it'll be HIPAA compliant, which I'm really excited about. But so everything collects everything into a bucket, and then it looks at over time how often this behavior is happening. So the frequency. You can also do the duration, because a meltdown could be 20 minutes. It could be 3 days. You never know. That's what it feels like. So you can view it live in the report screen. It goes into deep triggers. It goes into interventions. You can also look at environmental factors. You can look at your calendar. And then in addition, it has a deep analytics as well, where it looks at overlapping behaviors, or you tried this before and it seems to be working with this particular behavior. And then if that's not enough, you can also download a PDF of this information, where it kind of gives a quick synopsis with cute little graphs, so it's easy to read, and you can email it or print it and give it to professionals or caregivers for that matter.
Well, I tell you what you're doing is amazing, and we could talk about this forever, but unfortunately we got to wrap the show up. We're at the end. So I know, woo, it just goes so fast. Anyway, listen, if you can give us your gold nugget of the day in the next minute, to basically what do you want people really to remember, and then remind people how to get in touch with you for more information.
Sure. So my nugget, something to take away, is that we all are fearfully and wonderfully made, and everyone is unique. And in order to find that and support them, you need understanding, and you can't understand without the full picture, which is what Track It can help provide. And I'm just obviously so passionate about it, and I really hope to impact people, I mean, worldwide, truthfully. But to get a hold of me, I do have social media, which has always been a fear, but here I am. And so you can find me at Track It, the behavior tracking app, on Facebook, Instagram, or on TikTok. My name is Molly, Track It with Molly. And I also have a website, super easy, trackitllc.com. And you can find me there and reach out there too.
That is so great. So great. And we'll get all that information up on things. There we go. Up on the screen. It's in the comments. It's in the show notes. Everybody can click on it, go directly to Molly. And wow, Molly, amazing. We could keep talking, but I just appreciate you so much. You're a blessing. What you've done is you've taken something that is challenging for people and really launched into a solution to help with that situation. And I'm just so thankful. God is really using you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much, and have a blessed week.
Great to talk with you, Molly. Thank you so much.
Well, Scott, amazing. Wow.
I'm just going to say that the book over your shoulder, Life Happens and Then You Choose, has just been demonstrated in Molly's life, that her and her family had this opportunity with their family, and had a medical diagnosis, as many families do. But rather than sitting back and letting the system and things happen around them, she took action and created Track It.
Yeah. Well, all I got to say is you're exactly right. I mean, she took action, and so many people just sit there and look at stuff and they think, and they don't really do anything. And I just want to say, what a blessing that she has actually stepped forward and made a difference in all that she's doing. So, Molly, thank you so much for that. And for those of you that are regular listeners, thanks for being here. If not, we're here at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook Live every week. This converts to audio podcast and to radio, KWIL, KYKN in Oregon. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Amazing people like Molly every week. So please join us. And until next time, enjoy life and enjoy
your local experience.
That's right. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.